there is a minimum, and everyone who makes the cut to that minimum will be in the world to come. They will be able to connect to Hashem permanently forever. But where you are is going to vary. Every person is going to be different based on how much a person did. So let's just throw a number out there. Let's say 99% of people, or let's just stick to Jews for now, just to keep it simpler. Let's say 99% of Jews make the cut. They've done something in their lives that has given them enough merit to say, there's something there that can connect to Hashem permanently. That you can't tell me that the bottom 10% are going to be in the same place in the world to come as the top 10% of the most righteous, people who ever walked the face of the earth. So the explanation is that it's not the case. The people who are on the bottom are going to be on the bottom. They'll be there forever. And they'll make the cut, and it's not like they're going to be gone. They're going to be forever experiencing a connection with Hashem. But they're not going to be in the same place as the people who dedicated their lives and gave up everything and all the other things that make a person righteous. They're going to be in a much higher state within that world, but in different places. And that's his point here. Yes?
So, what does that mean about families being together?
What does that mean about families being together? Okay, so I haven't seen him talk about that. Doesn't mean he won't. But I have no reason to think that families are together in this at all. Couples, yes, because a neshama is split into two, and that's the husband and wife, that's the male-female, and that will get back together in the world to come. But family, I don't have any reason to think, as of now, that there's any connection. Now, we know there are certain connections, meaning that the things that a child does count as a merit or dismerit towards the parents because of their training. Saying Kaddish or giving tzedakah in memory of somebody, these things accomplish for the soul. And a child can certainly do that in a much more powerful way than any random person can do that. But I don't know that there is, we have this tendency to think about the world to come as kind of like living in this world where, we have a house and we have our people and we go out on the street and we see somebody, right? It's not like that at all. It's a completely spiritual existence. So we can't think of it in terms of, who am I next to? Who am I standing with? There is none of that. There is no space. There's no time, right? So we can't think of relationships, which is how that's the only thing we know, right? We know relationships. That's the only way we know things. So I don't think the concept of a family tie is going to exist. It's going to be about neshamas, and every neshama is kind of individual. Now, okay. How are husband and wife judged? That's another complex topic.
If that's the case, James, the straightforward hotline.
You are definitely dragging her down, Brad. It's she used to be going one direction, then you got married, and it's like, I don't know exactly how that process works, but again, remembering if we understand that, remember, every soul is purified before it makes it to this point. So now it's a question of the combined merits of the two. Where does it land? I think that's how it works. So there's no loss. It's only a question of how good. In other words, if I've done, let's say I got a 90 and my wife got 100, so we're going to end up at 190. You understand? It's not like we're going to end up at 95. We're going to end up at 190. It's a total combined calculation. Right. It's not an average. It's not like I get dragged down or she gets dragged down because of the other one. It's the total between the two of how much they both accomplish together. That's how I understand it. I haven't seen that, and certainly not here. He doesn't talk about it here yet. But as far as I know, that's how it works. It's connected. It's very hard to understand this idea of not having the relationships that we had. And I'm hoping he talks about it later on. I don't know that he does. But as far as I understand it, there is no relationships anymore once we get up there. It's a very human thing to have a relationship.
Right.
So neshamas, I don't know that they have that at all. That concept, I don't know that it exists. That doesn't sound nice, does it?
Well, I guess I just always had this thought, I guess people always talk about, like, you're welcomed by, like, your family.
Oh yes.
or,
Hold
you know,
on.
like,
Hold on. I need to clarify.
Like,
I need to clarify. Yes. Let me clarify.
or not.
Remember, there's two eras when we talk about this. There's the world of the souls, which is where all neshamas go after death, before the resurrection. Then there's the world to come. This is after the resurrection. This is when we're just in this completely spiritual state. But before then, when it's the world of the souls, then yes, there definitely is connection there. And you will recognize other people and things like that in that world. That's not the world we're talking about, though. We're talking about a world that's beyond that goes on forever, that's in, maybe distant future, hopefully not, but is like another era beyond the world of souls. In the world of souls, yes, in the world of souls, there's connection, there's learning, there's yeshivas, people go to learn and everything. Like it looks very different than the world to come, that forever future. So yes, I think in that first part, the world of souls, yes, there I'm pretty confident there's a lot of, there's interaction and relationships and stuff like that. Okay? Does that allay your fears a little bit? Not so much? Okay. All right. Well, hopefully he'll clarify it. Well, we definitely don't want to be looking like, oh no, that's something I'm not looking forward to. That's for sure. But let me see if I can find more information on this. But until this one, he hasn't talked about it, at least as far as I've gotten in here, which is not much further than where we are. But let me see if I can do some research and see if I can find a little bit more information on it. Okay. All right. What else? Nothing? Is it all good? Okay. All right. Okay. So this is a this is a very important concept, because you have people who have this this outlook of, well, I do some good things. I'm generally better than I am worse. So if I don't do everything, what's the big deal? You have to realize your permanent position for all eternity is based on how much you accomplish in your lifetime. So every missed mitzvah is a permanent, forever, all eternity missed opportunity. And that's never coming back. So it's you can't have that outlook of, well, I do enough. Don't ever look at that. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot. You have to realize your place in the permanence forever and ever and ever is directly connected to how much good you do. So don't let opportunities pass you by.
No pressure.
None. No pressure whatsoever. Everything's great. You'll make the minimum, Hey, down there. Yeah, right.
You can always ask for extra credit.
You can ask for extra credit. All right, Brad. I'm asking for extra credit on my insurance policy. Let me know how that goes.
Hold on.
Hashem's have enough work.
Okay, so this world souls and world to come.
Yeah.
Do people who need to go to Gehenna, do they not go to Gehenna until the resurrection?
No. The time that they spend in Gehenna is based on how much purification they need.
But does that happen immediately after death?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not after burial is when the soul ascends, and yes, right then during the Shiva the first week is a time of heavy judgment, and that's when the most transitioning takes place between being here in this world and being up in the world to come, in the world of souls, and then that process kind of eases over time. The maximum sentence is 12 months.
And so by the time you hit the world of souls, your points are tallied, so to speak.
Well, that's when the judgment takes place, is once you make it up there. That's when the judgment happens, and then the decision-making process takes place over that time, and the soul kind of transitions into its new state. So the first week is the most severe change, and then the next 30 days, well, up until 30 days from the time of death, is the next step, and then till 12 months is the last step. So somebody who needs the worst case scenario of, except for the people we just mentioned who are completely out, but everybody else who's made to that bare minimum, the worst case scenario for them is that they're going to have a 12-month sentence in Gehenna. But after that, they're out and they're clean. No one's worse than 12 months. So we generally say Kaddish for 11 months because we don't ever want to show that we think somebody needed the full 12 months. So that's why we only say it for 11 months. But that time, that process takes place during that 12 months. So it's not related to the ultimate, the resurrection or Mashiach or any of that. It's a separate calculation entirely. Okay. All right, what else?
Do people know that is the humiliation, is going to Gehenna a humiliation?
Absolutely. There are actually those who say that the entire Gehenna is nothing but the humiliation.
And afterwards, are you seen as a neshama who was retarded?
So that's a good question. I'm a little bit unsure about that because on the one hand, I have seen sources that talk about permanent blemishes on a soul that is apparent to all. On the other hand, it seems that purification should take care of that. So I'm not really sure how to deal with it. That's something I've been hoping for many years to reconcile, but I haven't been able to just yet. But there are definitely sources of stories where people, souls have come to people and talked to them in dreams and said, so-and-so, they've got a big red splotch on their head because they did this, that, or the other thing. Which kind of sounds like the purification wasn't complete. But I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile.
Something can be healed, but still leave a scar.
Which means it's not fully healed, right?
Yes,
So if it's pure, it's pure. If it's impure, then it could be 99% pure, but that's not 100%. So I don't know how to reconcile that. Hopefully one day I'll have an answer for you, but don't know. Okay. Okay. Are we good? Are we ready to finish up over here? No, we're not going to finish the chapter, but okay. Let's finish up the paragraph we are up to. So v'haya me'aymek atzasi yisbarach. It will be what happened from the deep understanding of Hashem. Sheyeh ha'adam atzmai ba'al toiv legamri. That a person should be completely the product of his own good. Ben b'chlal ben b'prat. Both generally and specifically. Pirush meaning, shalai dai shalai yizkel atayv. Not only is it's not enough that a person should merit goodness, ela acher shehisigu ba'amalei, unless he actually worked for that goodness and attained it of his own effort, as we learned earlier back in the beginning. Ela afilu prata chelik sheyutin lei, but even the specific portion that he's going to receive in that goodness of the world to come, la yiyeh ela kifi ma'asav b'diktuk, will only be exactly based on his actions. V'nimtza, so we'll come out from this. Shalayiyah ha'adam b'madrega zulas ma'shebachar. The person will only be on a level that he chose. V'sam hu atzmai etzatzmai ba, and he really put himself in that position. Ukvar yimatzu b'kivatzahu al yenim etachtainu. And therefore, because every person is really placing themselves in the world to come, everyone's going to be in different places. You have people higher and people lower. Gedalim Ktanim, people greater and people smaller. There will be no other cause for a person to be in a higher place or a lower place, greater or lesser, other than the person's own deeds. To the extent that a person will have no complaints on anybody. Everybody's going to understand fully, I did this. I put myself here. I am the reason that I'm in this position in the world to come. These are all things that I did. I see it. It's me. This is what I accomplished. This is who I became, and this is who I am. No one's going to be able to point fingers. It's going to be very clear and obvious to all of us, we will understand that this is the place that we've attained, and that is purely through our own deeds. Now, he doesn't talk about the idea of someone else doing something in merit of a soul. Doesn't discuss that here. I don't know if he does somewhere else. But he doesn't talk about that, and we are aware that there is definitely something to that, and that things that people do affect the souls of those who are no longer in this world. So we'll have to reconcile that at some point. But the simple understanding is going to be that the way someone here on earth does something for someone who's no longer on earth is because of the influence that that person originally had on the one who's still alive. And therefore it is considered part of an outcome of that person's deeds that is causing this other person to do a mitzvah or say a kaddish, give tzedakah, whatever it is, and therefore it will be attributed back to the original source, the one who did the influencing in the first place. So that's just a basic understanding of this, but just to be clear, he doesn't mention anything but the person's own deeds. Okay, good? Questions? No? All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a wonderful Shavuos. Please make sure you check your emails. We have a lot of programs going on Shavuos here. Please be involved. Brad, stay out of trouble in Vegas. Dr. Krako, sleep well. Have a good one.